Hey you guys, good evening. Tis I, Adina. Sorry, let me get my scarf right. And we are Beyond the Veil. I am grateful to have you guys here with me. This is going to be a quick continuation of earlier's reading. I did a reading on Shalom Jackson, Monique's son. I want to know what Monique's last name is before I go further. Mo. One second, guys. Monique. Okay, Monique, but what is her last name? Her name is Monique Angela Hicks. Okay. All right. All right. So this reading, I did a reading earlier on her son, Shalom Jackson. And this reading is going to be on Monique and her feelings towards the situation with her son. But I want to kind of clarify something I said earlier. Actually, I did that reading before I was aware that he had responded to her and her husband releasing those text messages. So I was picking up on him responding to some criticism via messages in his family, but it didn't even register to me that it was those messages, because I know about those messages, but I guess I didn't pick up on that, and I probably would have saw it had I clarified it. But I was so ready to just get out of that reading because the energy was so heavy. I actually had to do a whole ritual to get the energy off of me, because he's very clingy, because my energy was very nurturing and compassionate and his energy lingered, and I had to really compel it to release and to go. You're free to go now. And actually, for the rest of the day, I didn't get anything done real estate related. I didn't do anything else in the office, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to clarify, because I knew that I was at work. I needed to focus, and the energy was so heavy between them. And I felt like I was a little harsh when I watched it back on Shalom. But at the end of the day, when I said that he shouldn't have done that, meaning he shouldn't have come out and publicly expose his beef with his mom, it's because, for one, from a reader's perspective, and not even from a reader's perspective, just from a viewer's perspective, watching him in his videos, he's obviously still hurt by his relationship or his lack of relationship with his mother. And so if the goal is your overall well-being, why go public with something so traumatizing to you instead of just moving forward? And I had no idea that Monique had addressed her son in her comedy special on Cat Williams' tour, or even in Club Shay Shay. For one, I didn't watch either one of those in its entirety. I was just, watching clips on the blogs and stuff about some of the highlights. And correct me if I'm wrong, but between Club Shay Shay and whatever Monique said on her stand-up, the big takeaway from neither one of those was her relationship with her son. So it wasn't like whatever she said about him was what made the headlines. And so for him, who has a bad relationship with his mother, who feels some kind of way, I said that he shouldn't have done that, because it's not conducive to his mental and emotional health, because now the world is involved. His wounds are fresh again. Whether his mother triggered him by the things that he heard her say, him choosing to respond publicly made him vulnerable again in a way that he didn't have to be. There was a different way to go about this for him, for his overall well-being. And if his goal is to move forward, because he knows that him and his mother could never have another relationship again, and he said he's been to therapy and he wants to heal because now he has his own family, going about it this way wasn't conducive. And it just continues to trigger him because then she responded. So now he's even more triggered. So he responded. So that's why I said he was wrong by doing this, because it was a conscious decision to have a get back moment and confront her and humiliate her. But if your goal is to just move past this traumatic relationship with my mother, then going about it this way only made the matter worse for you and your emotional and mental well-being. So because I was reading him, I had to tell him he was wrong for handling it that way for his emotional and mental health. Because look now it's even worse. And now it's like the point of no return. So where there was old wounds and trauma, now there's new wounds and trauma being created as we speak. Because now they're in a whole nother public battle. And we, the viewers, are now soliciting our opinions and lending energy to something that's already raw for the both of them. So that's why I said he was wrong, because there's a different way to go about it so that you don't harm yourself in your pursuit of getting back at someone else. Okay, so with that being said, I do wish Shalom healing, him and his mother. I'm going to read Monique now in regards to the situation with her son. And then I'll probably never speak on them as a topic again, if I can help it. All right. Monique Angela Hicks. Monique Angela Hicks. Monique Angela Hicks. Monique Angela Hicks. Most High God, please allow me to see the soul of Monique Angela Hicks, comedian, actress, entertainer. Monique Angela Hicks. Monique Angela Hicks. Monique. Broken family unit. That's the story of her soul. Broken family. Broken from a broken family. Monique Angela Hicks. I see her character in Precious, but not the mother that she played, the little girl. I see her in my mind as Monique. Monique Angela Hicks. She is Precious, still in her soul, allegedly. Monique, talk to me about your relationship with your son, Shalom. Talk to me about how you feel about this public feud, this public breakdown you two are having in your relationship and in your communications. Talk to me about how this happened. Talk to me about what is going on with you and how you feel about it and what it's meaning to you. Talk to me about how you feel about your son from your soul right now as we speak. What is it in your soul for your son as he's bearing his soul publicly in a moment where you were basking in glory? Speak to me about how you feel about your son going online speaking about you. Your retaliation, how you feel about your son in general, Monique Angela Hicks. And I ask the Most High Mother, Father God, that nothing be hidden from me, from this woman's soul. Monique. Monique is caught between her husband and her son, between two rocks and two hard places. Her soul feels pulled between her husband and her son right now. I get the feeling that Monique's heart as a mother is hurting. But she's leaning to daddy right now and listening to daddy to numb or mask, not numb, mask how she's feeling maternally in her womb for her son right now, because she hears him. She hears his pain. The challenge is that he exposed these things publicly, and now things are ugly because daddy's all riled up. That's how he gets, you know, when Monique's inner child comes out is when daddy goes into daddy mode. He steps in to protect her inner child, not to set her inner child free, but to protect the inner child, to make sure that the inner child stays inside of Monique. And he comes and shuts everybody down before they can trigger Monique into healing. Because Monique needs to be triggered. She needs to feel in her belly what she's feeling right now without daddying, coming in to protect like a father would do for his daughter, his precious daughter. She needs to be triggered into healing, into accountability, because what she feels for her son in her gut, listening to him expose her, she knows that for him to expose her publicly like he did, he has to be at his breaking point with her. And she knows it, and it hurts her inside to know that she's lost her son in a way that she knows that they can't come back from. The challenge is, though, it's too raw of an emotion for her to deal with because it brings up too many raw emotions that she needs to not deal with. And so she leans right now into daddy. And he's still talking his talk and, talking for her so that her inner child does not speak something that might set her free. In the recent past, Monique, because this was, remember, in her son's reading, in his external energy, this was upright. His mother and her daddy's relationship. Well, Monique feels like this has been what has caused the demise of her relationship with her son and so many other people. This unhealthy relationship between these two. And because it's showing up in Monique's external energy, I get the feeling that at sometimes in her alone moments, when she thinks about the sacrifice that she made of her son, she does attribute it to her relationship with her husband. I get acknowledgement that the rift with her son grows and grows and has become a bigger rift because of her unhealthy attachment to daddy. Monique knows that she is codependent on her daddy. She knows that she needs him in an unhealthy way. But what's on the other side of that is even more frightful. Confronting her demons. This is a lesser demon for her. In the near future, Monique is going to lean into daddy. And I see this becoming a battle between Shalom and daddy. Above her, this also is in Shalom's reading earlier. This is how he saw his mother. In reverse, though, this is a woman who, when she is emotionally triggered, because she's the Queen of Swords, she doesn't do emotions. She doesn't do nurturing. When she's triggered to start feeling something, that is when she goes into hurtful mode, shutdown mode, vindictive, spiteful, lethal with her tongue. She does that to protect the emotions that have been triggered within her. Monique right now is raw. Whether she speaks it out loud and she's not speaking it to her husband, not completely. Not completely. Because whatever she does speak, he's going to speak the right words to soothe whatever she may be feeling. But it doesn't, she is stewing in this. In her crowning position, she's stewing in this. Part of it is how dare he? How dare he come out and embarrass me like this and get me caught up in this, because my image can't recover from this. I do get a hint of my image can't recover from this, and I'm angry at him for doing this to me, but it's also, she hears her sweet baby. She hears her son. She feels his pain. But she can't come to his rescue because she's triggered right now. Monique feels like I gave you everything. You were spoiled. I gave you everything to make up for what I couldn't do for you otherwise. Monique's love language was gift giving. Giving. Whatever he wanted, whatever he needed, whatever he didn't need. Because none of those things, Monique, I hear nothing I did, nothing we did was enough. Nothing we gave him was enough. It wasn't, because it wasn't what he needed from you. Monique, that's your problem. What Monique is doing now is trying to prepare for, I don't want to say damage control, but her rebuttal with her husband calling her son mentally ill and using that to dismiss his feelings was a way of using her celebrity to diminish him. I'm Monique, and I'm speaking in this calm voice, and y'all, I'm so sorry my son did this. He's mentally ill. Y'all pay him no mind. This couldn't have happened at a worse time, because I think that she could possibly have more shows to do with Cat Williams, and this was absolutely not a plan, a part of the plan, a publicity stunt. So she has to figure out how to save the new wave she created for herself on her sympathy and redemption tour. Monique wants to ignore her son right now and let it die down. He responded. Monique would love not to respond back, but I think Daddy would. Because she doesn't want to make matters worse for her career or for her relationship with her son, even worse than what it already is. Hopes and fears is that the family is irretrievably broken. Monique may respond again. Monique and Daddy. Daddy may be the one to do all the talking. Monique may respond. This, I don't know if she's going to choose to address it while she's on stage somewhere. I don't know. And try to turn it into a joke, making magic out of the situation. She may not choose to say anything publicly, but if she has another show lined up, she may choose to do it there and then turn it into a joke like comics do with their pain and their trauma. I don't know. Her and Daddy are trying to figure out how to make the best out of the situation. Here's Daddy here. And this is the Wheel of Fortune. Him specifically, and them trying to figure out how to turn it around. Because the son is over emotional and they feel like continuing to respond to him may not be the best. I don't know if they're going to try to pay him to be quiet and no longer say anything else behind the scenes. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're going to say if it's money you want, you know, or how much can we pay you to, you know, make this go away, or Monique, you know, wants to meet you somewhere, just her and you, no daddy, or something like that. I smell a meetup or an attempt to do a meetup between Monique and her son, and maybe that's just my spirit hoping, but I don't know. Monique, show me the Two of Pentacles here. in your present position. Monique would rather not have had all the fallouts that she's had. And she understands how Daddy and Daddy's presence in her life, because he does have a way of, well, because he is involved in her business, he wants respect. Monique may be the show, the star, but hey, respect me. I'm her daddy. And so he has a way of being overly defensive. And it's ruined a lot of relationships because Monique, she's willing to play the game a little bit. She's doing it now. She just wants to play on her terms. She's willing to play the game a little bit, but because Daddy will step in before she can compromise with the people, because he's like, no, come through me first, Daddy. It's just like people are just like, no, and they're just like, Monique, you seem like you was just interested before he came into the room. Well, I was not interested. I said wait until my husband gets here, but it's almost like sending mixed signals. So a lot of the people she falls out with, they feel like, girl, you want this. You want Hollywood. But you don't want to upset Daddy. You don't want to assert your power and your authority because you feel like if you do that, Daddy's going to punish you by walking away in some capacity. Maybe going cold on you, maybe making you feel like you're going to lose him if you don't include him in certain things or go against him when there are certain things that you want to do. And your relationship with your son is one of these relationships that's been a casualty of that. You putting Daddy over the value of other people. Your son has been a casualty, the biggest casualty, being left out because you were seeking the family that you never had. This is you seeking something else inside of this church, the warmth and the glow of the Ten of Pentacles, because this is the 5. While your son here is on crutches behind you, looking up, anybody help me. She helped me, y'all help me, anybody help me. It's cold and lonely out here. Because he is lagging behind her while she has a shawl wrapped around her, keeping herself warm. He's on crutches. She should be behind him, or she should be beside him with one of her arms wrapped around him to help keep him warm. But she's not. She's focused on her own warmth, looking for her own needs, and leaving him behind because she valued Daddy more than anything else and anybody else. And her son at this moment, she's aware of this though, because I'm reading her. So this isn't my opinion. I'm reading her. She's aware of this. This is coming up in her energy. Seeking her own happy family, she sacrificed her son. I won't say lost her son. She sacrificed him. And out of all the relationships, the business relationships that she's lost, she doesn't care about those. Her son. But because she's aware of this, because this is in her energy, that's the Queen of Swords in reverse. That's the double-edged sword with dealing with a sword-like mother. Because she's your mother, but you also might get stabbed with her sword, intentionally or accidentally, because she's upside down. Because she's ice cold. This is the coldest queen in the deck. She doesn't do emotion. There's no water in this card. There's barely any vegetation. And there's a glimpse of water. But barely. And it almost looks like it's being swallowed up by lava. But even her stone throne is on barren ground. There is no emotion in this woman. And in reverse, when she's triggered, she becomes worse. Because she's triggered now. And she doesn't have the coping mechanisms to not stab you with her words and her actions, like an earth sign or a water sign, even in reverse. Still have more nurturing because those are feminine elements. Sword and fire, those are masculine elements. So even in their feminine, even though they're women cards, their masculine energy, their negative masculine energy is amplified when they're in reverse. In search of her own happy family with a daddy, she knows that her son took the back seat a little bit. When she met him, she never would have imagined that someone like her, someone like him, would want someone like her. He helped her get over so many insecurities in the past. She thought he was the finest thing in the world, the most attractive thing in the world. And just the idea of him wanting to be with her, she never imagined someone like him wanting to be with her. And at that moment, everything else in this world took a backseat. Two of Pentacles. The moon in reverse, challenging, because that's being exposed and rubbed raw. That's what's rubbing her raw. The moon is the mother of the zodiac. Her son coming out of the woodwork, because he's never been public like this before. I didn't know Monique had this oldest son. Never knew about him. And he's not the type to like to be in public. Her kids aren't, you know, public out there like that, like celebrity kids. Now, she feels like he does have mental health issues, but they like to say that when they don't want to deal with why a person has mental or emotional issues. And he owned up to it and exposed that a lot of his trauma has to do with his mother. That's why she's rubbed raw, because she's associated with being a part of this man's anguish publicly. For him to come out and speak like this when we've never heard from any of Monique's kids. I also see some regret on Monique's part, coming out and blaming his mental health issues, especially when he responded. I think that she knows, and her team knows, and people around her knows that that was not the way to go about things. You do not want to make fun of someone or provoke or, you know, dismiss someone that's already publicly stated that they struggle with those things, when they're expressing very clearly and explicitly what their issue with you is. He wasn't some rambling fool slobbing out of the mouth and incoherent and making no sense at all. He was very clear in what he was saying. So to dismiss him because of his previous and probably current mental and emotional issues, that was wrong. And Monique is also feeling the weight of that. Near future. I see that there is a concern with Cat Williams about how this is going to affect the tour or whatever new endeavor that she has going on. There's a concern about, I think that she could possibly choose to not respond at all. Her and Daddy, or Daddy could respond. They could possibly not respond at all anymore, because this could possibly be affecting their business. I think there's a contract that Monique is under, probably with Cat Williams or someone else. She can't mess up whatever endeavor she's involved in. There's a lot of money involved. So if she continues to respond and turn off people, or if this situation with her son continues to be a mess, it can affect the tour or whatever engagement she's in, because it's a lot of money involved and there's a contract involved with her. And It's almost like so many people have issues working with you. I never thought, I think this could possibly have Cat Williams thinking like, man, this is the last thing I need because I go to bat for you. And people say you're difficult to work with. And look. Somebody, I think Cat Williams is feeling the pressure right now of being associated with Monique because they are doing this tour together and they're contractually bound. And I think that this doesn't look good. This could possibly affect the audience and the ticket sales. But they're in a contract together. So there could be some blowback if he kicks her off the tour early. So I don't know if they'll respond again with this Two of Wands in reverse. But I know that right now they're trying to figure things out behind the scenes with their business arrangements. I think they're having conversations with Kat and Kat's team about how they're going to solve this problem, because in Monique's current position, she has a deal. She has business to do. And she needs to do something about this situation to make herself look like a compassionate mother. So I think possibly Monique could be also reaching out and extending an olive branch to her son in some capacity. Maybe trying to. She could be trying to get in touch with him, but she's blocked. She can't get in touch with him or his wife. She would like to turn things around and possibly offer them money. Or I think she wants to get in contact with them so she can figure out whatever needs to be done to make this stop and go away before it goes any further. But I think she's having a hard time getting in contact with them because they don't want to talk to her. External energy, they don't want to talk to her. I think that they know that she could possibly be trying to offer them something, because that might have been the case in the past. She buys him things to appease him for what mothering she neglected to give him, that she's aware of. I get Monique is aware of her neglect, so she does buy him things. But I think this time it's gone so far, him and his wife are going no contact with Monique because they know she's just going to try to make it right by offering them something. And so they have not been allowing communication with Monique. Final outcome, the Magician. How are you going to make this magic, Monique? How are you going to turn this around? Monique can come out and say that my son and I are working on things, or she maybe could issue some kind of statement to her son, or somehow saying that she's willing to put forth effort if he is. I don't know. She has something up her sleeve to kind of allude to the fact that she's under, this is causing her pain, and she's willing to work things out if he is. She wants to communicate with him. She's reached out but haven't been able to make it right. She's being ignored. It's like, how can I make it right if he won't speak to me? If he won't talk to me? Spirit, one more card for the Magician. Give me one more card for the Magician as the final outcome. What or who is this? Now, I don't know if any more text messages or emails are going to be exposed. If Monique is going to defend herself or respond, or maybe try to make right something, because that mental health issue really could be a thorn in her side. I don't know. I get the energy of in order to salvage this, Monique, you can't continue to be on the defense. So I don't expect Monique to respond defensively. Because that also isn't good for her business endeavors that she stands to lose. Because Kat is concerned with all this stuff going on right now. Even though they are permanently ruined behind the scene, whatever she's going to do or whatever she's going to say or convey, it's going to make it seem like she doesn't want to continue fighting. But why do I see Daddy here so pronounced? I almost don't want to make any prediction as the outcome, other than Monique is going to try to fix all of this in some kind of way. Make it right or change the tide against her so she salvage her image and her business situation. I don't know if Cat Williams is a Gemini. Okay. The Magician is a Gemini card. I don't know if she's going to choose to address this, like I said earlier, again on stage. I don't know if... I don't think that Cat Williams is going to kick her off the tour. She may address this finally and once and for all on the tour with Cat Williams. And if she does, she won't be defensive again, because that won't fare well for her, and she knows it. And I also don't think that she wants to continue causing more friction with Shalom. I don't think she wants that. I think she thinks that it's gone too far with this online nonsense. I think that she may try to reach out to him without Daddy around, or try to sneak some kind of communication to him behind Daddy's back, or something that doesn't involve Daddy, so that she can try to make it right. I think that Monique is going to try to go behind Daddy's back and maybe communicate with her son. Now, we won't see this publicly, but I think I see this to play both sides a little bit, so she don't rock the boat at her own home. If she does address it, she's going to come off on her tour. She's going to address it in a way where she can be comedic about it and address it, but not be emotional. Now, I don't know if she's going to address it on tour with Cat Williams. She may, because I don't see her wanting to continue to go public online, because she can't control the narrative that way. But I do see attempts to make it right. So even if not heal it, make it go away. That's what I mean by make it right. I do see her trying to get in contact with her son to offer him or his wife a large sum of money, because they know that they need it with this new baby, and whatever career or work situation that him and his wife have going on, they can use the money. I see some of that going on, so that her career and what she has going on right now with Cat Williams and whatever else is lined up for her that hasn't been rolled out publicly yet is salvaged. That's what I have for Monique's end, is that she's going to try to go into salvage mode and damage control mode. And that's what I have for Monique's reading. However, Monique, you, now that I got the reading out of the way, I will assert my opinion, because you are the reason for this. You are his mother. And what I see in this reading is very, 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 very sad for a woman your age, and for a woman with children. Because I keep getting that you are fully aware of your shortcomings with your son, and that's why you try to pay him and make him happy with giving him whatever he wants. But Pluto doesn't care about any of the outer garments that we wear. Pluto wants to get to the core of the matter. And for you, that means shedding you of your public image, of your celebrity, so that you could stare your truth of your trauma in your face, to deal with it. No matter what you do, magician-wise, to try to make this situation magically correct in your favor or minimize the damage that's already done. Monique, when you turn off the camera and when you turn off the phone or the video recorder and get off of live or get off of the stage, even when you lay in bed next to daddy, it's your own body that you lay in. And the reality is that your family is in shambles. And what is happening now publicly, because it's drawn out publicly, and because your son feels like he was triggered enough to have to do this publicly, I don't know what it would take for you to make it right with your son other than to completely and utterly humble yourself at his feet and his mercy. And he deserves that. Your child deserves the fight to make it right. That's your child. Make it right with your child, whatever it takes, because he didn't ask for the circumstances that was put on him. As a mother, it's your responsibility to be as healthy as you can, as emotionally sound as you can be, for the well-being of your children that you bring into this world, that you choose to bring into this world. So don't bring them into this world so that you can knowingly and willingly inflict more hurt, harm, trauma, and danger on them. And then when they publicly speak about it, be so dismissive as to bring up their mental issues that you contributed to. Monique, you're going to have to strip yourself of your biggest garment, your biggest shield, and that's daddy. Then you're going to have to deal with your demons so that you can help your son heal from the damage that your damage leaked on and created him, and you're aware of it. Put your purse up, put your pocketbook up, and get real and raw with your son, and be willing to listen, to understand, and not listen to respond, and to take accountability of what that baby bears to you. What he says that you did to him, you just got to take it, because whether it was all intentional or not, the pain that you caused him, whether you meant to cause him that much pain or not, you did. And if you love him, do whatever it takes to free him of that pain, even if it's accountability, even if it's saying, I'm sorry. No ifs, ands, or buts. Not even, I didn't mean it. Just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, son. I can't make it right. I can't take back what I did. But today, tomorrow, and moving forward, if you allow me, when you allow me, I'm going to be present however you need me, whenever you need me. Monique, because you got a grandbaby now. All right, so that's my Monique reading. Much healing to the both of them. I don't want to discuss this anymore. I hope that we don't have to discuss them anymore, because I hope they no longer discuss this online. Good night.